Dr. Cynthia's side.
Part of Huda's coming to the Christian faith was disillusion with Islam. In fact, before she became a believer, we had many discussions about what she had been studying and reading in the Quran for years and what the Bible taught, and also the way the faith is practiced in Muslim and in Christian countries. As part of one of those discussions, I remember a day when a friend came in from out of town, a friend who was very knowledgeable in Islam and rather expert, had been studying it in the original Arabic, and had a discussion with us. And at that particular day, Huda was sharing with the friend that as far as she could see, there was no country in the world that practiced Islam the way it should be practiced. And that is why there was so much corruption and abuse of power and enforcement of strict Islamic codes in the world. My friend pointed out to her that that is not actually the case, in that when you look deeply into the Islamic source documents, they do propose a kind of Sharia, the kind of life that is enforced in countries that are strictly Muslim. Huda objected to that. Huda said, well, look at Iran before the revolution. Look at it under the Shah. Look at how much liberty they had, how women were educated and a very active part of life. And I'm not saying that there are no educated women in Iran now. But certainly, I think that our viewers would admit Iran has changed. And the outlook towards the West has changed from what it was under the Shah. My friend pointed out to her that the Shah was practicing a very westernized form of Islam. He had many Western connections. He was very influenced by a Christian way of thinking. And in fact, there were at least some family members of his that were Christian. So that was not true Islam. And looking into the papers, I agree with that. I think that he was very westernized. And that is why the kind of regime that he had, that Huda appreciated in evaluation, was not true Islam. That was troublesome to her. She didn't accept that at first. She started looking into it more and more, started studying, started looking at things on the internet, and discovered that really it is rather true that nations that practiced strict Islam are more repressive of women and human rights and things like that than she found comfortable and the kind of life she wanted to live. But I'm presenting this to you now partly just because this was an ongoing discussion over time, is that she really thought that if a nation would embrace true Islam, it would be better. And this is even after she became a Christian. She thought, you know, the true way of Islam is not the way it's being practiced. But I think she is coming to understand the difference and the freedom in the Christian faith, and that Islam is full of the kinds of rules that lead to a society that is, from the Western point of view, repressive. Frankly, I don't think, from my study and from anything I hear from the Islamic experts as well as from the Christians who studied Islam, I don't think that you can have a very liberal sort of society in an Islamic country unless you're secular and you've distanced yourself from the Islamic teachings and you don't practice Sharia. And I believe that's what Huda sees now as well. And being from the West, I'm just so thankful that I'm in a country that was set up based on Christian principles which respect freedom of choice, freedom of individuality, and the rights of all people, not just those that are of the majority race or faith or anything like that. And frankly, friends, that's why people are coming to the West, and especially to America, from all over the world. And even though they're bringing their faith with them, and because we are open and we believe in the freedom of the Lord, we let them do it here. But I hope that everyone who comes to America and even to Western countries that don't practice the Christian faith much anymore, I hope that they appreciate that the difference is because our whole worldview is based on respect of freedom of choice and the liberty that we have through the Lord.